in the most recent fight, I told him I don't like his work ethic. And that seemed to really hurt him. And I probably said it a little meaner than that.
What'd you say?
Well, I told him since our entire relationship, this has just been happening over and over again. And it's because of your work ethic.
What you said is true and honest, and I'm proud of you for saying that. What's up? This is John with the Dr. John Delony Show, talking about your mental and emotional health and your relationships, whatever you got going on in your life. I'm so glad that you are with us. For 20 years, I've been sitting with hurting people trying to figure out the next right move. And if that's you, if you want to sit down and let's figure this out, whatever's going on in your world, we're going to figure out the next right move. Give me a shout at 1-844-693-3291. 1-844-693-3291, or go to johndelony.com/ask. ASK. All right, let's roll out to Chicago, Illinois, and talk to Kaylee. Hey, Kaylee, what up?
Hi. Thank you so much for taking my call.
You got it. How we doing?
Oh, we're good. I can't believe I'm talking to you, honestly. I listen to your show all the time.
I can't believe I'm talking to you. This is rad. So what's up?
So, in brief, I'll just ask the question quickly, and then I'll kind of go into like some back info that you have a little bit more to go off of. I'm a little bit afraid that I have developed a sense of feeling like I am better than my husband over the course of our relationship, and this has recently come out in one of our fights just the other day. That's why I called. So for the background information, we've been married for 3 years. We've been together for about 8 years. We met at college, and I finished with a 4 years degree in chemistry, and he tried to do a 4 years in mechanical engineering, and he struggled through that pretty badly. So the first 4 years of our relationship were that of him having a hard time getting through that coursework and just trying to finish. And after about 4.5 years of that, he wasn't able to finish. It just wasn't going to happen. So he dropped out, which was really hard for him. And then we got married shortly after that. And since then, we've had a string of jobs for him that haven't really been working out. He's not very happy at any of these jobs. And now he's working part-time and doing a program online. And it looks like he's found something that he really loves, which is great. But it's a hard industry to get into, and it might take a long time for something stable to come out of it. So I have been having these recurring feelings of back when we were kind of in college of, oh, this isn't going to work. And in the most recent fight, I told him I don't like his work ethic, and that seemed to really hurt him. And I probably said it a little meaner than that.
Probably.
Right.
How did you say it? What did you say?
Well, I told him since our entire relationship, this has just been happening over and over again, and it's because of your work ethic. But
hold on.
Really,
what you said is true and honest, and I'm proud of you for saying that.
Okay.
You're not crazy.
I feel mean saying it, though. I mean, I don't know. I've wanted to build his confidence and self-esteem.
You can only build confidence and esteem through doing the thing.
Yeah.
And he knows that you haven't respected him for a long time.
Right.
And so saying it out loud is a relief. Did he like it? No. Did you feel good saying it? No. But was it true? Yes.
Okay.
I wish it hadn't been in a fight because he couldn't hear it. He could only fight back.
Right.
But underneath...
Yeah, I guess it...
Go ahead.
Sorry, I guess it kind of gave him, because it's been a couple days since that. He's kind of been shell-shocked a little bit. I don't think he knew that's how I felt about the whole thing.
That's fair.
Which, am I being dishonest throughout our relationship? Did this develop over time? Has it always been this way?
I mean, you have to answer that. My guess is you've either always gotten your way growing up, or you have been responsible for everybody around you for your whole life.
Can both be true.
Yep. And so when even the way you talked about it, we worked some jobs and we applied for jobs. And no, you didn't. He did.
Yeah.
And what'd your old man do for a living?
He was a produce manager for his whole career.
Okay. Can I ask you a real hard question? Just tell me the truth.
Yeah.
Were you embarrassed by that?
I don't know if embarrassed, but he made it very clear to me that he wanted to do something else.
Yeah. And he never did?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you went and married that person?
I guess I did.
And you can't fix it?
Right.
So I think the path forward is to sit down and say, hey, I'm sorry that we fought about that, and I owe you an apology because I should have told you that a long time ago. But underneath all of this, I think you need to be pretty clear about what you want and what you need. Here's where that's hard. What do you do for a living?
I'm a chemist.
Okay. It's hard for a chemist, like an awesome professional woman, to say, this doesn't sound right. Like, I'm not even allowed to say this, but I want someone that's going to provide.
Yeah.
I know I'm not supposed to say this because it's the 21st century, but I want a man to show up and take care of me, even though I'm an awesome chemist.
Right. I do.
And I don't want to be the husband and the dad and the wife, and I don't want to be all the parties here in this thing.
That's true.
And you know what else you don't want to be? His mom.
His mom.
Yes.
Yeah, we've had a couple. I feel like we've kind of worked through that a little bit as we've grown. I mean, we're still really young. I'm 25. He's 26.
Okay.
So that's probably in progress of working through. But we had the whole video game problem for a while.
We didn't. Stop talking like that.
He plays a lot of video games.
Okay.
Definitely not as much now because he's listened and tried to make it better.
So underneath all of the, I know, but like you're still talking to him like you're his mom. Here's the two big things. Tell me if they resonate in your guts. You have a man that you love, but you don't respect him, and he's not being respectable. And you don't like the life that you have co-created.
Yeah.
And you got to own both of those. And there's going to be some grief because you had this picture in your head when you walked across the stage as a 20-year-old chemistry grad and with a job in hand and an engagement ring on your finger, that my life when I'm 25 is going to look like this. And you are in that age where people around you are starting to say, like, I just got promoted. I'm having a baby. Look at our new house. And your husband's like, I don't like this job. It's too hard. I'm going to go part-time online and play video games.
Yeah.
I hate that for you. I hate that for him. I hate that for the whole dynamic.
I know. I guess I just don't really know what to. Being clear on my needs would definitely help. But
he might be stunned.
How do I help him?
He might be stunned. I think you help him by you telling the truth and you helping you.
Okay.
I was talking to my buddy Rachel Cruz the other day, and she said that a therapist buddy of hers said a couple was in there and they're trying to fix this and this and this. And he said, you cannot have an A+ marriage because y'all are both C+ people.
Yeah.
And so both of y'all have to work out, not exercise-wise, but y'all have to both put your whole self into this thing, not so you can be the valedictorian, but so that y'all can do something amazing. And he's got to be a part of that.
I know. I think he wants to be. I'm not sure he knows how to.
Yes, it's a both and, but you don't know how to tell him, and you don't know how to accept it.
Right.
And if the best way he's learned to love you, the best way he's learned to connect with you is when y'all sit down to do job applications together, okay.
Yeah.
And if the way to affection with you, if the way to like any sort of emotion from you is when you're mad at him for playing video games, okay.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So there's like, it just gets to be this weird dance, and everything gets to be both ends. And it's real easy on Instagram to pick on one of y'all.
Sure.
You just need to respect him more, or you got to get off your butt, dude, and go get a job. It's both of those things are true.
Yeah. Right.
But I think the metaphor in my head here is like y'all sitting at a table and you taking your arm and metaphorically wiping it across the table and say, okay, we're 25. We've been married X number of years. We've been together X number of years. We're starting this. We're building something new. We're not starting over. We're building a new one.
Yeah.
Here's the life that I want to co-create with you. I want to be so turned on by how you are carrying yourself. I want the TV to come on once a week, not once an hour. I want you, like I see this version of you in a suit or in an electrician's out. Like I see this version of you. And then he gets to say the same, and y'all build that world.
That sounds good.
And by the way, this is not fun. It's not fun. It's hard.
No.
You have to practice.
I know.
It's just, it's tough. And y'all going to, like, it's like you going to play hockey the first time on skates. Like, you just fall down a lot. It's just part of it. But both of y'all are committed to keep learning how to play hockey.
Right.
Can he handle that conversation?
I think it'd be hard to. I mean, I know this is a hard conversation, but I think he'd be stunned again.
How so?
If I told him truthfully, it's been hard for me to have. I haven't respected you in a long time. I didn't even really realize how long. I think he'd love to build a new life. That sounds great, but I think what he'll immediately ask is, "What do you want from me to do that?" I don't know how to answer that.
Yeah.
Because it's not as easy as just go get a job. We've gotten jobs, that they pay the bills and they're fine, but he's so unhappy in them. And on top of that, it's hard for any of my success at work because it's kind of it's a weird competition.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Is it with you or with him?
Oh, with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I just got a raise not too long ago, and it was a pretty good one, and that's hard. Yeah.
And it's really heartbreaking to be married to somebody and be building a life somebody that y'all can't even celebrate together, huh?
Yeah, in that area, for sure.
Can you put that on the table?
Yeah, I could.
Because I think everybody deserves to have a spouse that they celebrate with. They weep and grieve with, for sure, but man, we got to be able to celebrate together. And he gets to say, "I'm jealous of you, and I'm still going to celebrate with you." Both of those things can be true too. You know what I mean?
Sure. I think that's a potential future for that.
Okay.
Like I think he could do the "I'm jealous, but this is so good."
This is awesome. So
yeah.
I'm jealous of my wife. She's a better writer than me. I wish I could write like her. I can't.
Sure.
She's just good at it. She does it every single day at the same time, every morning. I mean, she's amazing at it. I can't. And we've both been writing the same line. We both went to the same graduate school. We were in different, I mean, we're same college. We're different, like, programs, but man, she's just better than me. I'm jealous. And also, man, I just can't, I just beam with pride so much at what she creates. It's both and, right?
Right.
It's an inspiring jealousy, not a debilitating jealousy.
I know, and I think that's in there.
Yeah.
It just maybe doesn't come out that way.
Can you say, "I'm not going to be your mom anymore"?
Yeah.
I want to be your wife.
Gladly.
Yeah, you say gladly, but can you do that?
Yeah, I mean, I have.
Okay.
I guess I keep trying to take ownership of it because there is still it's a weird role for the modern day woman, it seems, of being all of the household and all of the full-time work.
You get to draw the boundaries there. I'm not going to do your laundry anymore.
Right.
If you're going to stay home all day, then you're going to take care of dinner, you're going to take care of the dishes, and you're going to take care of the laundry.
Yeah.
You don't get to play both sides of the fence. Oh, woe is me, I don't feel like working. And also, you got to do all this stuff. And by the way, you have a picture in your head of this picture of what a wife does, and you love being a chemist, and you're crushing in that job.
Yeah.
And you're a part of the modern women industrial guilt complex, where you can't win. There's no way to win. That's why I say unplug from that matrix, and you be honest with you about what you want and need in your home.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that fair?
I can do that. Absolutely.
So when he says, what do you want from me? I think you flip that question around and say, who do you want to be? Because I want to be with a man who's confident, who is providing, who is strong, and believes in himself, and you don't do that.
Yeah.
That's a fair statement.
It is. I guess this is just against everything I kind of know. I don't really know anyone who talks to people like this.
What, loving and honestly?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you've never seen it done this way, it's hard to watch.
Yeah, it feels mean almost.
It does. But if you, who's your best friend?
Actually, my husband.
You don't have a best girlfriend?
No, no.
Okay. Do you have anybody to talk with other than him?
I have a cousin I'm pretty close with, but
Okay.
I probably wouldn't bring this up.
I want making close girlfriends to be one of your top priorities for you.
Yeah, that's a separate call, I feel like.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a critically important. I know you're.
Sure.
It's oxygen. Because here's what you're trying to do. You're trying to create an idol in real time. He can't live up to that. He can't hold all that.
Right.
And it's just easier for him to say, I fail at work, I fail at home, I fail in the roles, I'm just going to sit here and play games. Is that an excuse? No, not at all. God, I wish he was on the phone with me because I'd be letting him have it, but he's not. But you need him to be your everything so that you can be okay. He can't carry all that.
Sure, I see that.
But he's got to be something, right? He's coming. What's he want to do?
Well, he actually wants to make video games.
Okay. He can do that on the weekends. What does he else?
He works in he works at a paper company, printing, cutting paper.
Oh, like a print shop.
Yeah, print shop.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what he does part-time right now. He was full-time, but he needs
to get a full-time job and co-create a family with you guys because y'all are going to make up some goals.
Yeah.
We're a family who has dreams. That's who we are. We're a family that goes on adventures. We do fun things, and those things cost money. And so by the end of this year, this is how much money we want to have in the account. And so this is how much money we got to go make. And these are the sacrifices that we're going to make because we have this vision together. And we is made up of me. Here's who I'm going to be. And we is made up of you. Here's you, who you are going to become so that we can go do these amazing things and build this awesome marriage. And that's how it works. But it's not mean to lovingly say, and it's mean to wait and not say anything and blow up in a fight. That's mean. And then to say hurtful things. Even if you're weaponizing the truth. That's mean. It's not mean to say, I'm struggling with being attracted to you. It's not mean to say, for 8 years, I've seen you start things and quit things, and I'm beginning to feel like I hitched myself to somebody who doesn't want to go anywhere. I'm not okay with that. I believe in you more than you believe in yourself. It's okay and loving to say, I am resigning as your mother. I'm your wife. And here's who and what I'm attracted to. Men who get up and go and do this and do that, all the things. It's okay to put that on the table and say it, and y'all co-create this thing together. And when he says, well, what do you want me to be? That's him passing the buck yet again and say, I'm not your mom. I'm not going to answer that. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? If you have some fantasy about making video games, cool. What are you going to do tomorrow? You can't keep working part-time at a print shop. What are you going to do tomorrow? And by the way, I took my first graduate school class at 26. He can become, my wife tells everybody, she bought low with me. Like I bought when the stock was real low, and it's gotten good. Same with you. He can change. He can go build something amazing, but he's just got to have that encouragement. He's got to look in the mirror and say, I'm worth more than this. And so is the world me and Kaylee are creating. Whew. Tell him the truth. Telling him with love and treat him with dignity. time to hang up your mom hat and be his wife. We'll be right back. It's time to talk about Organifi. All right, here's one of my main goals. I want to be as healthy as possible for as long as possible. I want to be that old guy in the mosh pit, and I want to be dancing with my wife well into our 80s, and I want to be able to roll around with my grandkids in a WrestleMania match well into my 90s. And that's why right now I exercise, I work on my friendships, and I try to eat and drink things that only have high quality ingredients. And that's why I love Organifi. Organifi is incredibly selective about what goes into their whole food blends. Organifi gives you ingredients with integrity. Plant-based, certified organic, vegan, dairy-free, soy-free, and glyphosate residue-free. Glyphosate's a pesticide you don't want anywhere near you or your food. And Organifi is just simple. You just mix it with your water or your favorite beverage, and I take green juice first thing in the morning to balance stress and help me get ready for my day. And I take Organifi red juice in the morning and in the afternoon for natural, sustained energy and endurance. And yes, I still love my happy drops all day, to help me stay positive and up and at 'em. And this fall, you can try to wind down the evening with a pumpkin spice gold juice. Oh yeah. It's that time. Go to Organifi.com/Delony right now to save 20% off, or you can use code Delony at checkout. That's Organifi, Organifi.com/Delony, and use code Delony for 20% off at checkout. Hey, it's Delony from my friends at Helix, the makers of the best mattresses in the universe. Good folks, I've slept everywhere and on every kind of mattress surface imaginable. You name it, I've tried it. And my sleep on the Helix mattress has been transformational. I'm sleeping into new levels of deep sleep. And I've said this often, and I'm going to keep saying it. Everyone in my family now sleeps on a Helix mattress. I love them that much. And my family, like all of you, is different. Everybody's different. And because everyone sleeps differently, Helix has created a number of different mattress models to choose from, each designed for specific sleep positions and feel preferences. There's mattresses for side sleepers, stomach sleepers, back sleepers, for everyone. Helix also has enhanced cooling features to keep you from roasting at night. And if your spine needs some extra TLC, they got you too. And Helix knows there's no better way to test out a new mattress than by sleeping on it in your own home. So Helix offers a 100-night free trial. And all Helix mattresses come with either a 10 or 15-year warranty. I want you to get online and take the Helix Sleep Quiz, just like I did, and it will help you find the perfect mattress for your sleep preferences in under 2 minutes. And here's the best part of all of this. Helix offers our listeners 20% off all mattress orders. Go to helixsleep.com/Delony for 20% off. That's helixsleep.com/Delony. Because with Helix, better sleep starts right now. All right, let's go out to Kelly's favorite place where she gets her gummies, Denver, Colorado, and talk to Catherine. Hey, Catherine, what's up?
Hey, John. Just somewhere between crushing it and waiting for my coffee to kick in. How are you?
Dude, it's late for coffee, man. You're a brave soul.
Oh, no, 2 cups a day is pretty average, right?
Yeah, but I usually have 9 of them, but before like 9 a.m., so good on you. Man, you're flexing it today. What's up?
Absolutely. Yeah, so the surface level of my question is really, how do I approach my sister about her social behavior? And is it even my place to do so?
Her social, not her social media, but like her, just human behavior, like out in public?
Her social human behavior.
Oh, this is going to be fantastic. All right, go for it. What's wrong with your sister's behavior? I love this.
Where do I start? Yeah, really unable to read the room. I don't know if I've never met anyone personally like this before, but just kind of just zero social awareness of how her social behavior comes off. Really speaks competitively, lots of interrupting, word vomit, kind of 45 minutes will go by, and her just not even really noticing that you're completely unengaged or not engaging anymore.
Yeah. Does she know the folks that I've sat with who struggle with this? They know that people don't like them or that people are frustrated with them, but they don't know how to not do that. And so their way to solve that gap that they feel is just to talk more and faster.
Whoa. Yep, that sounds maybe perfect.
Okay. I do think there is a moment of extreme and powerful compassion to sit down and say, if you're willing to listen or if you're interested in listening, there are some things I've noticed that make being a friend of yours hard. And I would love to sit down and talk to you about it, but I only want to do it if you're comfortable with that and if you're interested in hearing it.
Yeah.
And that might absolutely torch your relationship with her. But here's the thing. You are watching somebody drown. And I think at some point, it's like somebody having a booger, right? Or somebody like having really bad breath, like a booger like sticking on the end of their nose. At some point, someone's got to say something, or you kind of turn into that person.
Right. And I'm trying to figure out where my line is between like being that person, being transparent versus like crossing the line or just being kind of rude. And I don't want to grow resent for her and not invite her to things and not want her to show up at things because of how she is socially.
But if somebody, I think Kelly's done it for me, like, hey, you got a booger right here, or come here, your shirt's all weird, or hey, don't wear that shirt again. Like I can't tell you how grateful I am for that. I also know some people do not or cannot hear that.
Yeah, there is a history, actually a long history of her, kind of being unsafe in our family. So like leaving and coming back and not consistently showing up for things. So I think that's also where I do just feel a little stuck in like how to approach it with her.
You know your sister better than me. I'm usually pretty direct, but I think most people most of the time know that I love them.
Mm.
The people that I would have this conversation with know I love them. And I do have people in my life that couldn't hear this from me, and I just move on. I do get your sense of like it's frustrating because I don't invite them, I don't talk to them, and you're kind of in a catch-22 because if they ever sat down and said, hey, you've had 5 parties or 5 get-togethers, you didn't invite me, why? And you said, all right, I'll tell you. Their natural reaction is going to be, why didn't you tell me that beforehand?
Yeah.
And also, if you know, because you couldn't have heard it, then okay, you know that. The other side of that is, man, I'm always so grateful when someone's like, hey, stop talking, be quiet. Or, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, for a long time, I'd ask my wife at parties when on the way home, like, did I talk too much? And she'd be like, yeah, you did. Or...
And I think you have that like self-realization, which I just like she simply, and I have had a little bit of it, like kind of like the hand holding where I'm like, yes, sometimes when I'm at parties, I find myself talking too much. Do you ever feel that way? You know, like I've hand held her a bit.
Yeah, that's more passive aggressive than held.
Totally. Yeah. I'm from the Midwest originally.
There you go.
So that
that's
makes
right.
sense. Yeah.
I don't know. It's easy for me to say because I'm on this side of the fence, but it feels like the honoring thing is just to sit down and say, hey, it's hard to be your friend and here's why. But I also understand not going to hear it. So I'm going to honor her by not resenting her. And so I'll either not invite her or I'm going to go have my own conversations at get-togethers.
Yeah. My fiance and I are planning a wedding, and I think that comes into where it's like, do I invite her? Like, it's a very small ceremony. It would just be his immediate family and mine, and I feel this sense of embarrassment with her, right? I think
the right thing to do is to say something. That's your sister.
Yeah.
And I guess let me think it like this. This may be a bad analogy, okay? And I'm sure the internets will let me know if it's a bad analogy. Imagine a truck is driving down the street towards your sister, and you run out and shove her out of the way. And in the process of shoving her out of the way of this truck, she breaks her arm, she scrapes up her face, and she scrapes up both knees real bad. She can get up, go to the hospital, get cleaned up, and look at you and say, thank God you saved my life.
Mm.
Or she could say, how dare you push me down? You're the worst sister ever. Look what you did. At the end of the night, on both ends of, like, regardless of the response, you would sleep better than had you not pushed her out of the way.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to sound crazy. We're going to help our sister, but we're also going to be our identity here is we're a person who tells the truth and we're a person of character and integrity. I can't continue to let you get run over by a truck in these social situations. And I'm not going to invite you to my social situation unless X, Y, and Z.
Wow.
And
I like that.
And I think that's really hard.
Yeah.
And so you need to have some space in your heart for her to look at you and say, how dare you? I'm not coming to your stupid wedding. I hate you. I've always hated you. You're blah, blah. Like, she gets to choose how she responds to getting pushed out of the way of this truck. But at the end of the day, you'll know I did the best I could to love my sister.
Yeah.
And I hate this for you because I know there's no way to win this. I mean, we don't want to win, but there's no way this ends well. I know that. You know what I mean? I can hear it on you. There's no way this ends well.
Yeah, and there is just a lot of conversations around her too that do you want me to add an extra layer, Dr. John?
Why not?
Just a large history of addiction and like addictive personality on her side. And just a struggle of like talking to her when she's in that ruminating, I don't know, spiraling.
Yeah. And the demon is when you get clean, the thing that your body's craving is connection.
Yeah, that's what I sense. She's been showing up to more family things. Like, I want to invite her. I want her to be there.
How long has she been clean?
I don't know that she is.
Okay.
Totally. Yeah.
And so maybe that's the place to start. You cannot come to my wedding if you're using.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll walk with you and I'll love you, but we all know. And I have people in my life that I love who have used in the past, and I know the conversation I'm suggesting you have, I didn't have it. That's just me being honest. I wasn't tough enough to have it. Let me say that. I wasn't loving enough to have it. One of my rules on this show is to, like, 99 times out of 100 say, like, hey, this is what I would do in my house. And I'm just telling you, I didn't, it wasn't in my house, but it was with people that I care about. And I should have had a different kind of conversation. I didn't.
Yeah. Whew.
I hate this for you.
Thank you.
Every once in a while, there's calls on this show that don't have a happy ending. I think this is one of them.
No, yeah. Not looking for. I have a lot of tips. I think this is helpful. We listen to your show pretty religiously, so yeah.
Will she go have coffee with you?
You know, we don't live in the same state, so that's It's just hard to navigate. You know, when the holiday is that we'll be together next, or it's usually like family built, and then by that time, there's so many of us that I'm just seeking asylum somewhere else away from the constant barrage of her communication style.
Yeah. And some of it is you get to choose how often you answer the phone. And you get to choose how often you respond to texts.
Yeah.
And it might be the slow introduction to boundaries, which is she'll just know, oh, sister doesn't always answer the phone, or sister doesn't call back, or sister doesn't always respond to text. Or I can't believe you never respond to me. And you can say, yeah, I only respond to text once a day.
Yeah.
And then she gets to decide. But you've been trying to keep her safe for so long that I get how scary it is to say something and be afraid that she doesn't come back.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then also, if I do sit down and have that conversation about, like, hey, part of me being a good friend is I don't want it to come off petty and say, like, well, you speak competitively and you interrupt and you word vomit and you're an expert at everything and everything's about you. Like, I don't want to bury her.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. I wouldn't bury her either. I might say something like, I love you so much, and as you're working on growing up and cleaning up and all those things, I want to come up with a hand sign. So when it's time to take a breath or it's time to let somebody walk away, I'm going to give you the hand sign from across the room. I'll wink at you, or I'll make finger guns or something like that, and I'll do something so you can see it, so you can catch your breath.
Okay. Yeah.
And it might be able to be framed as, I think you're one of the most amazing people, and when you are feeling good, there's nobody in the world I want to spend time with, and everyone wants to spend time with you. But when you're not feeling good, it's pretty tough.
Yeah.
Things get real heavy, and it's hard to feel ourselves. I watch people. It's hard to feel their full authentic self when you're not feeling good. I want everyone to get to know you the way I know you. So can we come up with some sort of signal or something? I'm just spitballing here. I just know this is so hard. This one's tough. But I always think you're within your rights to call somebody that you love and care about and say, you have to be clean at my wedding, at my special event. This event is about us, and you're going to be our guest at our thing, and I need you to be clean. I also know from just years of loving people who struggle with addiction that even calling it out and putting it on the table is can be a life-altering, oh my gosh, you're the worst, I hate you kind of deal. And it took me a long time to realize that they get to choose what happens next. They get to choose that outgoing relationship there. Whew. Sorry, sister. Sorry, I wish I had better news for you, man. I would love for you to reach back out and let me know how that conversation goes. I know these don't always end perfectly and like with the swelling soundtrack and all that like in Hollywood, but it's real life. Thanks for the call. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody. Great. This is an election year. Everyone is mad and yelling at everyone, and no one's trying to solve anything. I can't control them, but I can control me. And I know the more chaotic it gets out there, the more important it is for me to do whatever it takes to prioritize peace and prioritize my spiritual life. And that's why I want to tell you about Hallow. They're the #1 Christian prayer app in the world. I use Hallow every day, and they have thousands of guided prayers and meditations and challenges to help you build a deeper spiritual foundation, to help you answer challenges and doubts, and to learn more about God. And right now, Hallow has a new prayer challenge going through the classic work, Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. It's a fantastic introduction and a rousing conversation about the Christian faith. So if you're curious about Christianity or you just want to understand your faith better, this would be a great time to join Hallow. It's also cool that Bear Grylls, the survival guy, will be one of the guides of this challenge. And thankfully, Hallow is going to have some special content to help us get through this election season, so keep your eyes open for that. Again, I use Hallow every single day, and I want you to try it out. Download the Hallow app and head over to hallow.com to get 3 free months. That's 3 months absolutely free at hallow.com/Delony. All right, we are back. Let's go out to Boise, Idaho, and talk to Jewel. Hey, Jewel, what's up?
Hey, how you doing?
We're rocking on, dude. What are you doing?
Oh, just taking care of the littles.
Taking care. I'm kind of doing that with Kelly, except she's an old. What's up?
Oh, just needed some of the neighborhood-friendly doctor advice on something that I've kind of been relatively struggling with for quite a while. So I'll start off with my question of, how do I overcome my habit of being habitually late so I don't impact my children's needs and my husband's feelings?
Are you a Kelly plant? I feel like she planted
Kelly's pretty
you.
Awesome.
Because I may or may not have been 20
awesome.
minutes to this show. Do what?
Say that again.
I said I may or may not have been 20 minutes just starting this show. Late. 20 minutes late.
See, I do relate to you there, Dr. John, because because I know you've mentioned that on your show, and I'm like, oh, me too.
And I may or may not have been late to the speaking event I was at before this, and to my court appointment that I was at before that. Maybe, allegedly. Good grief,
Allegedly.
Jewel. Okay, so we'll work through this one together. Tell me about it.
Sounds good. So I am a stay-at-home mom, and I am also a former military wife. I'm married to a Marine, and so he's.
This makes it so much better. So good.
It does, and of course, as you probably know, it's the whole if you're not early, you're late, and he still chose to say I do to me. So,
man, you must
this
be.
Has always been a problem.
Yeah, you must be amazing. One time, my wife, I came home and I was like for lunch from work, and I came home for lunch and I was eating lunch with her, and we were having like a good lunch, and I was like, oh gosh, I gotta go. And she stopped and she goes, "You must be amazing at your job." And I stopped and like turned and looked at her. That's not really her thing. She's not like a words of affirmation person. And I was like, "Really?" And she goes, "Yes, because you are such a disaster in every other part of your life that you must be so good that they put up with that." And I was like, "Oh, that was not a compliment." And then I left. So yes, you must be amazing at your life. Good for you, Jewel.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I try.
Here's the magic question. What does being late get you?
Get me. And can you elaborate?
Yes, being late, not paying attention to time. It gets you something. What is it?
It gets me something. I honestly don't know because it gets me nothing. All I know is that when I know I'm going to be late, I just feel deep shame and I just feel so bad for whatever I'm having to make that phone call to be like, I've tried, but I'm not making it.
But an hour earlier, what was your body getting? Because there's some benefit to it, or your body wouldn't keep doing it.
I don't know. I've never really thought of it like that. I'm not sure.
Well, your body gets something. Maybe it's you don't like control, or maybe you don't like paying close attention all the time, or you like who knows what the thing is, or you like just having fun, or like I honestly have to be hyper intentional because it doesn't occur to me. Or here's another thing. When somebody starts talking to me, especially about something of importance, I think it is incredibly disrespectful to cut that conversation off and to end it. And it wasn't until somebody said, "Hey, when you're late and we're all in this room, that's incredibly disrespectful." And I thought, "Oh, now I have to choose a path of disrespect, like in my guts, right? I have to pick that." I don't know. What does your body get? Because I spent a lot of time mining my life trying to figure out what it is.
It's interesting because saying "what do I get" is really interesting turn of phrase because I'm like, I'm not really sure because it really doesn't give me anything except anxiety, but it's the idea that I try to prep as best I can for whatever I have to leave the house for, but yet it seems like no matter how much prep I do, something always kind of gets in the way, whether it's I'm having to break up children fights or it's the constant barrage and interruption of me trying to just get ready to leave the house, or I also struggle with a lot of sleep deprivation. And so it's also the fact that sometimes I'm not able to get up when I set my alarms to it, but I don't really know exactly what I get out of it. I get nothing positive out of it.
I disagree.
No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because often I get 5 more minutes of joy, or 5 more minutes of sleep, or 5 more minutes of, we don't have to be there 7 minutes early. And it's a little bit of control because it's the only control I got.
That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
And a lot of that is not conscious. It's a body fighting back against a system or fighting back against a river that it feels like it's getting dragged downstream all the time. And I'm making this call about me, and I don't mean to, but this is like one of my nightmare scenarios. Since I was a little kid, I've always felt like I got dropped into a world that I had to accommodate everybody else's everything all the time forever. Teachers, schools, coaches, class, and I'm feeling it right now. There's times I just want to freaking exhale.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there's times that my body fights for me. It just slows down. And that's not an excuse.
Yeah.
What's your body get? What do you think?
I don't know. Honestly, I thought coming into the call, I knew, but I know that I can tend to be controlling. I try really hard not to, but it's the negative effect that I don't like. And so when you're saying, what do I get? To me, it's like, I really don't get a lot. I mean,
smoking makes you cough. It makes everything stink, but it also gives you something. It'll kill you, but you get something from it. Drinking will kill you. It makes you annoying at parties. It ruins your sleep, but it stops the thing right the second.
Right.
So maybe that's the homework assignment. And maybe, it was important for me to ask people that I love and care about because they were able to see it. Like, what do I get from being late? And it's less about what I get from being late and what do I get about not planning? What do I get from not paying attention? And what things in my life must be true? You nailed my number one. If I'm going to honor and respect the people around me, I have, and that means showing up on time. That means showing up prepared. All those things. I got to get sleep.
Mm-hmm.
My brain doesn't function. I've got friends who can just roll out and go. My brain stops.
Right.
Cool. I just know that about myself. I have to disappoint people, which I hate doing, and I have to leave when I'm in the middle of a conversation. Because I promised somebody I would be there at their meeting at whatever time.
Well, I will say that I do relate to what you're saying as far as it's hard for me to cut off conversations too when I know it's gone too long or I have to leave.
Yeah.
You know
why?
I will say one thing. Why?
The whole world rests on your and my shoulders, Jewel. And if we're not there, then the whole thing will collapse. So we just got to always be there. And that's not true. It's a story we tell ourselves.
I never thought of it like that.
Yes.
Not sure if I quite get it. Yeah.
All right. I interrupted you. What were you saying?
I said, I'm not sure if I quite, as far as the whole, if we're not there, everything kind of collapses. I'm not quite sure. Okay. Or it's not at least resonating.
Okay. Well, dig into that and ask your husband, ask a couple of your friends, what do you think I get out of being late? And just listen to what they have to think about it. I want you to change some of your language too.
Okay.
You absolutely can get up.
Yes.
You're
not wrong.
It was a direct, private backstage conversation that lasted about 30 seconds between me and Jocko. I can get up.
Mm-hmm.
I can go exercise. I can put my crap away the night before and be on time. And I don't know why that was a light bulb moment for me after I was already a grown adult with a full career, but it was.
Mm-hmm. I will say that one thing that's always kind of struggled is one thing that my husband says is I used to work night shift or I guess graveyard night shift, but for 2 years doing something very specific in the equine industry. And he says ever since you did the night stuff and you never really bounced back. And then we had kids. And I will say that once our kids came into the picture, my being late either was less as far as less late as far as showing up to things, or actually I was on time. But as of late, it's been harder and harder to hit the goal of getting somewhere on time. And also was one of the things that I've also struggled with is I had two very different parents. One was always on time and one was ungodly late, to where it was, I joke about him now as an adult where I'm like, why even show up at that point?
Right.
So I had two very different scopes of parents of what that looked like.
And you're probably frustrated actually by both of them.
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Because it felt like, I don't know if this helps, but it felt like because my parents were split up, is if my father was late, it was somehow my fault because I didn't somehow keep him in line.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
So all of that is important context. And I'm going to tell you what I tell myself on a regular basis. That's not an excuse. I got to be on time.
You're absolutely right.
And so the magic word for me has been intentionality. And the other set of magic words, the phrase I live by is don't forget to remember.
Mm-hmm.
And those two things have been the transformation. And I'm not perfect at it. I slept horrible last night. My sleep wasn't good. And I've been stumbling around all day, just fumbling through this and then this to this. And I know that. So I have to be hyper intentional about this evening so that I can start anew tomorrow. I need to blow up all my systems. I had a rough day. That's fine. I was late a few ways. And by the way, me being late today wasn't my fault. It just was. And okay, cool. I'm going to get up and go again tomorrow. And I think there's a level of intentionality, but I think shifting the language to no, you can. I can. And by the way,
you're absolutely right.
When you're late, you're not the worst person ever.
Oh, but it feels like that.
I know.
It feels, it's the looks, it's the behavioral change, it's the change in pitch and tone of voices. It sucks. And I personally carry that all the time.
So this goes two ways, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of the right way to say it. Because your house is not my house. Here's the piece that we had to make in my house. It's when my wife sat down and told me, when we're late to church, I get embarrassed walking in late. Never occurred to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm embarrassed. I don't like everybody turning and looking at me. Well, I don't ever want my wife to be embarrassed. Ever.
Right.
You're married to a Marine, for God's sake. If somebody's late, everyone dies, right? That's the way they treat you. And so
Exactly.
I have it in my guts now. We're going to be on time. And on the occasion that I'm not, she'll walk downstairs. If I'm not ready, if I'm dilly-dallying around, or sometimes I'm outside because I need to fix a sprinkler 14 minutes before church starts, and the kids are me and Josephine are wrestling about, she'll hop in her car and she'll say, I love you, I'll see you soon. And she'll hop in the car and she'll go. That used to enrage me because I was just ashamed. I was embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
And now, cool. I honor that. I drive myself. There's no anger or mad. Nobody's mad. And here's why. She knows who she married. And she knows I'm working on it. And I know who I married. And I know she's working on it.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just about mercy. It doesn't need to be a State of the Union every time. Once every 2 or 3 months, I'm late to something.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't need to be keeping score on the few times I'm downstairs 5 minutes before she is. And I'm like, oh, okay, look at this. Who's on time now? That's a waste of time too.
Right.
I just get to make a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, I haven't taken care of myself, or the thing I'm going to, I don't really want to go to.
I definitely feel the second half of that.
Okay. You need to be honest about that. That changed my life.
Yes.
I don't want to go to this event or this dinner or this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And what I found is it's much more integrous to just say that out loud and to deal with that level of disappointment. Let's have that conversation, and let's not make up some proxy war where I'm dragging out the door and they're mad about, because that's not about the real thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair?
That is fair. Yes.
Okay. You're not a terrible person.
I would say, I guess it's just harder when, say, your other half says, well, we're expected to go. And like weaseling or like backing out at last minute.
That's why
it's like
you back out first minute.
Right.
And if you're honest, that's probably the conversation you need to have in your home.
Mm-hmm.
That now that we have 2 kids, y'all haven't done the work of saying, okay, our entire life is different now, and we got to build a new marriage.
Right.
And I used to be able to have my full life and we built our marriage, and I could go to all these little things that, quote unquote, we're expected to be at. Our world is different now.
Right.
We need to have that new marriage building conversation. And by the way, that could be fun and adventurous because he doesn't want you somewhere where you don't want to be.
And normally he doesn't. He doesn't actually. No, it's a lot of times I tend to be more of a yes person, like, yes, let's do all the things. Or I tend to
that's it right there.
Overstock my plate.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. It's, and then you have, you have 2 little kids, right?
Yes, I do. And I'm also a part-time horse trainer. So there's that.
Because why not? And we have 19 things that you plan to do before breakfast. And then how old are your kids again? You said it earlier.
They are almost 4 and 2.
Okay, so yeah, your 4 and 2-year-olds are off going blah, blah, somewhere in the corner. And you have, it's 8:15 and you're walking out the door for your 8 o'clock appointment. And your 4-year-old and 2-year-old are everywhere. And they're the problem. Like, I just can't get these kids. Yeah, okay. Maybe we start at 5:30 a.m. and we don't plan anything on those days when we have those early things. It's just about intentionality. And we're really intentional about, I don't want to be at this thing at 8 o'clock. We're expected to go. Let's talk about that expectation. Because we get to build our life that we want, that works for us. And I'm not going to live that life where, well, I just expected you don't get a vote in our house. And then when it comes to doing a job, going to work, I got to go to work, then I got to figure that one out. I got to go to court, I got to figure that one out. And so I think it's about having those conversations beneath the conversations, but all of that is, I'm going to be intentional. How can I love you? Don't forget to remember how good it feels when you roll in 5 minutes early versus 5 minutes late. And I can get out of bed. I can go exercise. I can skip my workout today so I can get to this important appointment on time. I can. And Jewel, this is me making a pledge. I'm going to keep working on it, and I hope you'll join me. We can be on time. And if you're listening and you love someone who struggles with being on time, keep loving them. Use it as have anything to do with you. We'll be right back. Hey, what's up? So if you're a regular listener to this show, or if you're brand new, you know that one of the things we talk about all the time is your marriage, dating, relationships, trying to find that spark or trying to get that spark back, or how do you stay married and have kids or deal with money, deal with like all the stresses that's going on. By the way, being married in this day and age is an act of rebellion. It's hard. You're swimming upstream. And I happen to believe it's worth it. And last year, for the first time, me and my good friend Rachel Cruz, we put on a money and marriage retreat. We invited couples from all over the planet to come into Nashville, Tennessee and spend the weekend with us. And we had a prom, we had educational sessions, we had tons of Q&A, we had some back and forths, we had couples on stage for live coaching. It was amazing. I'm excited to announce today that the Money and Marriage Weekend Retreat Getaway is back. This October, join Rachel Cruz and me for a weekend in Nashville, Tennessee. At Money and Marriage Getaway, you're going to get all of it. You're going to get tools that you need to stay connected when you get back home to your madhouse lives that we've all created for ourselves, right? So I'd love to see you all face-to-face. There are a few VIP spots that they've reopened. Go to ramseysolutions.com/getaway to get your tickets today. All right, we're back. What do we got, Kelly?
All right. Probably the shortest social post you've ever said or ever put up. You don't have to respond.
I did do that.
You did. Recently.
Yeah. I don't know what's happened, but it's just been like a flurry of like people being mean on the internet, sending me mean stuff, mean messages. It's been tough. Like it's just kind of got me down in a weird way that normally I just kind of go about my life, and maybe it's because I'm tired or blah, 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 whatever. But I felt this need to I need to say something, or I've got 700 text messages that come into my phone, or I get it. And it was just a quick reminder to myself, dude, you don't have to respond. Like, you get to respond to the people who are important to you. Ben, when Will threw out a date for our band to rock, I responded immediately.
Sure did.
When Kelly reached out, did not respond immediately.
No, you're very, I think you decide which ones you want to respond to when I...
Well, sometimes you say hey, are you going to be able to, or will you check this out? And so I leave it unread because otherwise I'll read it and I'll be like, yeah, I'll do that, and I'll forget. I won't do it. So I leave it unread. But yeah, I don't have to respond.
I think more people should heed that advice.
Heeded.
Yes. You don't have to respond.
It's a world we live in where, just imagine this. You're walking, I know you are your favorite restaurant in the world is Chili's, and you're there 4 nights a week. So imagine you're walking down to go get your Awesome Blossom, and you just...
First of all, that's not a Chili's thing. Second of all, no.
Well, okay. I was trying to cover it up, but it's Applebee's. So you're at Applebee's and you're walking down the thing, and you hear a conversation at a table. You hear some guy telling his girlfriend this thing at a table. In no world would you stop and turn and go, you, sir, are an idiot. What you are saying is wrong. You know how I know? Because I heard from that table over there that actually no one would do that because it's insane. Or if you're driving down the road and some cool guy pulled up next to you, in a, I don't know, a sporty Mazda with no top on. Shirt, yes. I meant the top of the car. Slow down, Kelly. Slow down. He's got his shirt on. Don't be weird. But he was a convertible. And you heard him and he was singing and you would be like, meh, meh. And he turned the radio down. You're like, you're not a good singer. You're terrible. No one would do that. Why? Because it's insane. Yet on the internet, that's how we treat each other.
100%.
It's so bizarre.
Yeah. We have that conversation with our son all the time. If you wouldn't say it to someone's face, Don't say it.
Yes. And when somebody
Period.
rings your doorbell, they're saying, I would like to talk to you. You don't have to go, well, then I guess I have to. You get to decide. I would like not to talk to you. And that's the same thing with a phone call or a text message. Like, ding, 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 text. Cool. I'm not in a good space for it, or I'm busy, or I'm doing a thing, or I just don't want to. I will respond to that when we get there. And I think we all get to do that. We don't have to respond. Near. And I still think you planted that call today about being on time.
No, but man, as soon as it came in, I was like, you better believe we're taking it.
New year, new me, dude. New year, new me. I'm making changes. Love you guys. Bye.